What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the After Effect Podcast. I'm your host, LeBron Stephen. We have a very special guest for episode 3. We got Effrem Reed. He's an offensive analysis analyst for Michigan State University, Big Ten University. He spent the last 2 years at his alma mater, University of Louisiana, as a director of player engagement. We actually worked together for a little while in Atlanta before he got to coaching after his collegiate career. So excited to have him on. I just sent him the invite, just waiting for him to log in. My guy.
Yo, what's up, man?
Come on, man. How you doing?
I can't call it. How about you?
Pretty good, man. Back on the East Coast, man. It's cold over here, man.
Yeah, it's been that weather's been up and down a little bit, kind of.
Yeah. I know Michigan is probably the same. Michigan and Ohio is pretty much the same weather.
It's been kind of warm the past week or so, but before that, man, it was a little colder than I'm used to.
Yeah. I already know. Coming from the South, coming from hot Louisiana.
No doubt at all.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on, bro.
That's anytime.
Yeah. Like I said, man, this podcast is essentially to give people like us a voice. Former athletes that maybe played at a major level in college,
Right.
had a short stint in NFL or NBA, and had to kind of figure out that next transition, figure out that next passion.
Right.
So yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on. You're doing big things, man. We can dive right into it.
Okay, let's go.
So I'm an Ohio guy, so just talk about growing up in Louisiana, Baton Rouge. Like, what was the culture down there? I know you played in high school with Jarvis Landry. He's still like doing big things in the NFL. So just talk about what the culture was down there for those who don't know.
Well, man, Louisiana, it's either hit or miss. You either come from something really nice or you come from the struggle. It's no in between, really. A lot of people down there, a lot of families. The dream of a lot of kids growing up is to go graduate high school and work in the chemical plant.
Wow, okay.
Dream. And you go a little further down I-10, toward the Lafayette Lake Charles area, and those guys want to grow up and go work offshore because it's quick money, it's easy money, and it's good money, but it's hard labor at the same time.
Okay.
So I mean, for me growing up, my dad was a plant worker. That's what he did. He was a football player and blew his knee out at the wrong time, and he didn't get the same opportunities. So he worked in the plant for years, and he's still working there today. So for me growing up, it was always that's not what I want to do. You got to find that group of people who have that same drive and mindset as you, and
exactly
on that same goal that make that grind a little different. And high school was fun. Landon Collins, Eric Reed, Eddie Lacy, we were stacked. They didn't win the state championship, but we were stacked.
Wow, you play with all those guys.
Oh, no doubt, man. But it was some good relationships, and for me growing up, me, my dad, my sister, my mom was there on and off through her lifetime, through other circumstances, and grandmother played a huge role in my life, and uncles and aunts also played father and mother figures for us. But most definitely for me, it was just all about finding a way out, finding a way to be different, finding a way to go ahead and find something to affect the world and affect the younger generation. So maybe mistakes that I made along the way or opportunities that I missed out on by not being educated or knowledgeable enough, or maybe not working hard enough, whatever it is. But that was my whole goal, and that's what I'm still shooting for today, man.
Right. Oh man, that sounds great. Did you work during your career at the University of Louisiana? Did you do any internships, or you just did you like have a summer job, or did you go to summer school?
We did summer school every year, so we didn't have an opportunity because that was required by us. Obviously, back then the rules were a little different.
Yeah, I know they were a lot different.
You had to make summer workouts mandatory. You had to be enrolled in summer school. So we took 6 hours every summer, and it was a good deal. You're able to get ahead on your degree, and for some guys, you were able to make up, maybe some classes you didn't do as well in, kind of retake those classes, or it helped you graduate early or on time for some people.
Right.
But it was very beneficial. Helped me get my degree and be out of there quick.
Yeah, because I tell people all the time, I feel like that was something that I dropped the ball on because my grades were always pretty good. So I actually didn't have to take summer school because they made us take at the U of Iowa, and I don't think this is a Big Ten regulation. It's just they made us take 15 hours in season. So if you had good grades, you didn't necessarily have to take summer school. They usually only had guys take summer school if you didn't redshirt and you had to get your degree in 4 years instead of 4.5. So I had to work a summer job just to like, pay bills over the summer because you're not getting a Pell Grant or anything like that. But I've always felt like maybe I dropped the ball on that because maybe I could have squoze in an internship, some way, somehow, just to have had, that experience of work when I graduated. If football didn't work out, that's why I try to tell guys don't use the summer job as an excuse. Like you can still try to figure out how to get some hours in on any internship just to kind of get your name out there, your personality, and build yourself with the company essentially.
I do think that's one thing that a lot of schools are doing a better job of these days is getting guys prepared for the future. As just like you said, we didn't have those same opportunities in place where you could go get a summer internship every summer, or go ahead in the off season and go ahead and meet with some boosters, not even boosters, just people who have been in your shoes and who had success after college. We didn't have those same opportunities. A lot of things are evolving. Like I know Clemson has a really good program in which they implement from freshman year to senior year for their athletes. That's where they're linking them with, people teach them how to write resumes, teach them how to conduct themselves in interviews, how to properly dress for interviews. We've also taken that here at Michigan State and at UL as well. They're trying to implement that where I came from. So, but I think they're doing a better job now because we had summer school mandatory for us, but we didn't have that opportunity unless you were just taking your intercession time and not going home for holidays, and you were just going to sit there and do an internship, which is completely different now. But I do think schools are doing a better job. Not everyone's on board, but it is getting better, and that's something that our director of player engagement here, he does a great job. Darian Harris, he played 2015 Rose Bowl team. He's a really good player here.
Okay.
With the Cincinnati Bengals for a little bit. He does a great job of linking these guys with, people who've left Michigan State and had success, former athletes. Like we had our kids on the Zoom call last week with the House of Representative member who was a former Spartan player, kind of giving these guys a little tools and knowledge and jewels to help them understand, for all of us, that football's going to end one day. It's all temporary.
Right. And yeah, like you say, football's going to end, and those guys need those gems because if you don't have them, after it's over, you feel kind of lost. So those gems, those mentors, those resources, that's just major. All right, man. So talk about, I'm an Ohio guy, so I grew up always wanting to play at Ohio State. So talk about, I know you're a Louisiana guy, and being able to play in your home state. I'm sure a lot of your family was able to come to like a lot of your games. Talk about that because my college was 8 hours away, so my parents weren't able to come to every game. They were typically only able to come to a few a year. So I'm sure just talk about how that felt, because I'm sure just having that family support in state.
Oh, it was huge, man. Definitely being able to have my folks there every game. It was right down the road, an hour down the road. So, Saturday morning, my pops would get in the car, my uncle or some cousins, and they just drive on down. Had a tailgate spot, and they would just chill all day, watch the game, and then head back home that night. Yeah, but it was awesome being able to have that support right then and there. If you had any issues, any trouble, a phone call and a drive away.
You knew you had somebody to go to. Yeah,
no doubt. And holidays was huge. You get some teammates who weren't as fortunate to have their families.
Exactly. Take them to the house.
Yeah. No doubt. But it was huge. It was always that support system, and you were never as alone. I do think it's good for kids to go off for 4 to 3 to 5 years and experience new things, see new states,
experience life. Yeah.
Oh, no doubt, because that's one of the best things I ever did. When I picked up after everything, I moved to Atlanta. That's when I met you. That's when
that's when we met.
It was to pick up everything and just go try something new.
Right.
And it's a great opportunity to open a lot of doors, and I met some people to kind of help me put me in the position I'm in right now.
Yeah. Oh man, that's dope, bro. So you came out 2015, right?
Right.
Yeah. So talk about. I'm not sure if you got any like rookie minicamp invites or free agent deals. So just talk about that, like whatever NFL experience you did have, and then like what was the deciding factor? Because we met in Atlanta, and I felt like we were kind of in the same boat, like just working in Atlanta, trying to figure it out, like not sure if you still want to play, not sure if you want to do something different. So just talk about like that transition and like what was your deciding factor? Like, okay, I understand that I'm done with the game now, so let me go into this.
I think for everybody, and just as well as I do, is when you're done playing football, you kind of gotta re-identify yourself a little bit.
Right.
You know, you gotta kind of
Reinvent yourself.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
Because your whole life you've been a football player.
Mhm.
Everyone said, "Oh, look, there's LeBron, the baller." You know, there's Effrem,
Right.
he's the football player.
Right.
It's kind of like, okay, now I'm a person.
Right.
I'm a regular civilian now. Now I have to re-identify myself, reinvent myself, and show people that, okay, I could do other things besides play football.
Right.
And for me, you know, my senior year in college was kind of up and down because I ended up getting a stretch fracture in my right leg, or I had to get a metal rod placed in my leg right before the season started.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I'm sitting here rehabbing, and you know, I was fortunate enough to be able to come back around 5th game. We had 2 early bye weeks, you know,
Okay.
a lot of rehab, man, a lot of 2-3 days rehabs, and I was fortunate enough to come back and did pro day, did everything, and worked my ass off for it. And you know, the second day after the combine, I still hadn't heard anything, nothing. You know, about a week later, I'm talking to my agent, and he hits me up. Look, I got this workout with the New York Jets, and you know they're gonna bring you up, and we're gonna go up there and just give it a shot. So I went up there, worked out. I was there for 3 days, maybe.
Okay, yeah, that was a rookie minicamp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rookie minicamp.
So you actually put on the helmet.
Oh yeah, I put it on.
Yeah. Okay.
I put it on. And
man.
I left, came back home, and they called me back, said, "Hey, we might bring you back. Just be patient, you know."
Right.
So about a month passes, 2 months pass, nothing happens. Pick up, move, and then I'm Arizona Cardinals call, go up there, work out. You know, it's right before the preseason. I think somebody had went down or something. And I knew Stump Mitchell. You know, he was the running backs coach at the time.
Okay.
They coached at Southern.
Okay.
From high school. So he was, you know, right down the road. And went up there, you know, was chilling for about a month maybe. Got sent home. So at this time, I'm like, do I really want to keep changing it, keep chasing it? You know, I'm talking to my dad. I'm praying. You know, I'm talking to my uncles. And I'm like, you know, I got to make some money. I got to move on in my life because I'm sitting here, you know, like I could sit here and work out, wait for a phone call, but I'm more than a football player. I got a college degree. I don't want to be sitting here, you know,
right,
doing nothing. So I just jumped in the car, man. My mom was living in Atlanta. I pulled up on her. I stayed with her for about a month, and after that, you know, got my own spot. Started working at Hillside, and I was fine.
Right. It's man, it's funny that you say that because like a goal of mine was always just to get it. Like I feel like I had to scratch and claw for any opportunity. So just to get in a rookie minicamp, I feel like I couldn't even get in one of those. Put on the helmet and just compete for 3 days. Because I came out 2012 and you know I didn't get any opportunities. You know, no rookie minicamps, no undrafted free agents. So I moved back home to Cleveland. Like you say, just kept working out, figuring out. I think my first job out of college, I did landscape. Right. Just because, like you said, like while you training, you're trying to keep your body in shape, but you got to make money. You got to be able to eat and pay your little bills that you got, you know, post college. So I did that. I was working out every day. I ended up like making a new workout tape, like a pro day, structured like a pro day, and I sent it to my agent. He sent it to a bunch of 3-4 teams because that's who we were getting scouted as. Because I was like a 3-4 outside linebacker. And I finally got to work out with the Packers because Clay Matthews went down.
Right.
So he was going to be out for like, I think 3 or 4 weeks. They needed an outside linebacker. So they flew me to Green Bay. I worked out. I met all the guys, Aaron Rodgers, you know, all the mainstay guys. It was a bunch of guys. My former teammates at Iowa, a couple of those guys was playing for the Packers at that moment. Brian Balaga, he's just signed with the Chargers, but he was with the Packers for about 9 years. Mike Daniels.
Right.
They drafted him. He played for them for about 8 years. They came to the workout. So, you know, the vibes was good. Like, you know, they came to support. I'm thinking, oh, this is it. And so they fly me back to Cleveland after I killed a workout. They fly me back to Cleveland. And they say, yeah, just, you know, stay ready. You know, you'll probably hear from us in a few days. This was like on a Tuesday, I think or Wednesday or Tuesday. I think that's the NFL's off day. And the very next game, Aaron Rodgers breaks his collarbone, so they have to sign a quarterback instead of an outside linebacker. So they moved one of their defensive ends. I remember Mike O'Neal, he played at Purdue. He was a defensive end. They moved him to outside linebacker, made him stand up so they wouldn't have to sign someone. And so that was my little window. That was my small little window that I had, and like, and it just, it just wasn't for me. It didn't work out in my favor. So that's when after that I moved to Atlanta and eventually met you. Just trying to figure it out.
Right.
But I always love hearing guys' stories because it's always so different. It's like some similarities, but it's some different. You this close, you that close,
You thinking, man? They called me, look, I got this workout, and it's like, all right, you gave it all, you did your best, and it's just like, I guess.
Right, you gotta just you gotta take it as it is,
Oh, no doubt, and it's never personal. It's all business,
Oh yeah, you know that. So the director of player engagement at your alma mater for 2 years, man. Just for any young aspiring guys that's going to be watching this and maybe they want to coach, just like tell us just the step-by-step ladder that you had to take to essentially get there. You know what I'm saying? Because I know most guys usually do like a graduate assistant for 2 years and then they move into some kind of role. But I'm sure, that was like a big stepping stone for you, especially at your alma mater in your home state, things like that.
I think it's one of those situations where, it gets to the point later in life and the old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Well, in this business, it's who knows you more than that, So after I left Atlanta and went to Houston, I'm working, in Houston. And I get a Twitter DM from Ryan Trishelle. He was the director of player personnel at UL. He had been there since I played. He had been there a while. He was at Mississippi State prior to that. So he had been there, and he hit me up, because he knew when I was a player, I told him, maybe one day I'd be interested in coaching, and he never forgot that, and I'm grateful, it's extremely blessed that he remembered that.
Right.
So he DMs me, was like, hey, we got a new staff because the staff I played for had got, let go. And Billy Napier comes, he was under Saban at Bama for 6 years. He was with Dabo at Clemson, youngest OC in the country at one point at 26 years old at Clemson.
Right.
He was on the up and coming. So, he calls me up and he's like, hey, Coach Napier, I'm going to get you on the phone with him and offer you a recruiting position. Doesn't pay much, but it's a foot in the door. So I get on the phone with Coach Napier and, we just chop it up. We talk. And before we got off the phone, he was like, well, the job is yours. When can you be here? So I, talked to my girlfriend. I'm like, man, I gotta go. You coming or you not? We got this opportunity.
Right, gotta make moves.
Oh, no doubt. I was making good money in Houston, living life in H-Town, but it's one of those things where you're just not happy because you're not doing what you love.
Right.
So I packed up and moved back to Lafayette. I knew enough people where, I could get some deals on some places and, where to go, where to live and everything, financially stability. And got a good apartment, and me and her both moved out there. And, we stayed in Lafayette, and I was a recruiting assistant. And then about, I told the head coach, I said, I want to coach ball eventually. I don't want to just stay in the operations side of it.
Right.
But my whole thing was, everyone kept telling me, make yourself valuable. Make yourself valuable. Make yourself notice. Make your work notice, and make yourself valuable. So I took it up on myself. There were only two people there who were there when I was a player. It was Troy Wingert, who was the chief of staff, and Ryan Trishelle. So I went to Troy Wingert, and I'm like, hey, I'll do this recruiting stuff, but can I also assist you with something? Anything you need, maybe I can help out.
Right.
So I'm in the operations. I'm learning the operations side while I'm sitting in the offense and defensive meetings at times as well. Just trying to soak it all up. Soak it all
in, yeah.
As possible. And, at the end of the season, Coach Napier tells me, he's like, hey, it wasn't even in the season. It was midway through the season, right before we hit fall camp. He said, I'm going to promote you to director of player engagement because you've been doing a good job. I want you to reach out to all former alumni, handle everything with getting these guys in the community because a lot of people, getting these guys doing some community service and putting them in front of the right people. So, just like we were always trained to do, you go ahead, hit it full force.
Right.
Went work. Season ends, and I got these guys doing great community service. We're lining stuff up. We have these guys in the community have their faces in the right place in front of the right people. We tried to implement some. We got just a football specific job orientation deal. So we brought companies in that former players who were from Dallas to Houston, to Alabama, and got those guys to come up and just kind of introduce them to the guys and kind of conduct a mock interview to the upperclassmen, the juniors and the seniors, just giving these guys opportunities for life after football.
Right.
Which, at a G5 school, it's hard. Everybody's not gonna make it to the league or get that opportunity, no matter how good you are. It's just
Right,
hard,
right, right, right.
So and you gotta kind of be real with these guys and let them know ahead of time, like you're good right now, but when you go to that next level, everybody's good.
Everybody's good, right?
Everybody's good.
Competition is
Oh, no
up
doubt,
there.
no doubt. So after the season, he said, you worked your butt off for a year. I'm gonna let you coach. I'm gonna let you be a GA. So he
Mm.
let me GA, and I was a defensive GA. I had never been on defensive side my whole life, except for middle school. Coming
Right,
playing
right,
DN in middle school.
right.
But he told me, his first job at Clemson was a defensive assistant, defensive analyst, and that made him the offensive coordinator he is today. He said his
Okay.
2 years he worked on defense and he understood the game a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole year on defense, I'm sitting there trying to learn. And everything I was looking at, I was putting in an offense perspective. Like, okay, if I was in the offense, how would I attack this? How would I do
Right,
that?
right, right.
Okay, that gap sound right here. How can I attack it and make them ungap sound? Just little
Mm.
details and just taking my notes, inventory, and everything, and just working. And this is
Mm.
where the whole who knows you comes into place. So
Mm.
my offensive coordinator, I bust my tail for him when I was a player. He knew I was smart. He knew I understood the game while I was playing, and he was at Georgia. When they went to the Natty that year and everything,
Okay,
and he left and went to Colorado with Mel Tucker when they
okay.
were there that year. So it's all over the news. Mel Tucker gets the job at Michigan State. He gets the job at Michigan State.
Mm.
So I know Jay might be going with him, so I'm just sitting there. Well, is he gonna reach out to me? Should I hit him up? What's up? Like,
Right, right, right.
not fishing for a job, but it's a great opportunity. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be another GA, maybe. So about a week after he gets the job, he calls me and he just asks me, you ready to come to the Big Ten? And I'm just like, hell yeah, like let's go, let's
Right,
go.
right,
And
right.
I'm thinking, all right, so do I gotta apply for grad school? What? He was like, no, no, no. I'm gonna make you analyst, give you some responsibility. So I'm sitting there like, whoa, I'm about to get a pay raise, about to get my name out there with the big boys. I'm just
Right,
like,
right. Offensive analyst.
and I'm just sitting there. I tell my girl, and she's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Just know we about to be good." Like,
Right,
but at this point, now it's go time. Like, all right, now I
right,
got to prove myself even more.
right.
That's all it's been these past couple of months. This virus has been a little slowing things down, but it's just like, all right, let's
Yeah.
work. Just
That was my next question. I know. Congrats again on that new position, man.
appreciate it, man.
That's
Appreciate
major, bro. That's
it.
like you say. That's just climbing that ladder. Chop wood, carry water. Just
No doubt.
every day getting better. But so yeah, talk about that transition because it's a weird one. Like you get a new position, but you get it like I think maybe right before coronavirus hits or during. So you got to move during it, and you're getting yourself used to and acclimated to everything, but you're not around anyone. It's all Zoom meetings and things like that. So just talk about how that experience has been, these last few months.
I think that's been the toughest part. Trying to be as creative as possible because I came out here March 8th. I came out here by myself, for 2 weeks, and next thing I know, the virus hits. I'm out here, the virus hits, and they tell everybody go home.
Yeah.
So we go home. We're scheduling Zoom meetings. We're trying to find apps. You're trying to find any little way to get
Right.
these guys engaged.
Right. To stay connected. Yeah.
No doubt, because spring was about to start for us.
Mm-hmm.
We only got 2 days before spring. 2 pre-practice days where you can have pads on. So
right.
We got those 2 days in, and next thing you know,
I got those in. Okay.
Yeah, that's all they got in, and they shut everything down. It's been like just trying to find ways to keep guys engaged, find ways to get them to learn the playbook because it's a whole new scheme, whole new system, whole new playbook, and that's been the toughest part. But
yeah, I can only imagine.
Oh, it's been tough, and I think it's been harder on the defense more than offense because offensively, route trees are route trees,
right.
Combinations are combinations, but
mm-hmm.
It's just been a little difficult getting these guys to understand that. But they've been doing well, they've been engaged, they've been, working hard, asking questions, and we're finally getting in that return to play deal, a little bit. So everybody's back and getting tested and doing a little quarantining, before we actually get out there and let them start working out and running. But these guys, they've been doing a great job. And the higher you go, the more they want to go to the league. So it's not as much pulling teeth, So
Right. Yeah, you guys know that they're going to grind and put the work in because Were there any coaches like that had any just like anxieties about maybe possibly being behind when things do open back up? Because when they do open back up, it's kind of like you gotta hit it hard to make sure that everybody's up to speed for possibly, you know, when training camp comes?
I think the one thing we've tried to do is kind of essentially understand the basics of what we're trying to put in. Because for us, you know, our first 2 installs are the hardest 2 installs because it's the most stuff, you know. So, but I think all the coaches in the back of their head, including myself, were kind of okay. We hadn't even seen these guys hit yet. We hadn't seen too many of them cut yet. You hadn't even put them through too much indie yet. So it's like you don't know what you're gonna get. And then you don't know what guys have been doing for 2 months at home. So you don't know if they're gonna come back in shape, you know, and you know how it is. You know, guys eating Popeyes, chilling on the couch, you know, go run every now and then with the homies. But I mean, it's been like, you know, it's that question mark in the back of the head. When we do kick off, everybody better be ready to roll because the foot gonna be to the gas. Like
exactly, it's gonna have to be.
Especially want to perform well. You know, that's the big thing. You want to perform well. You want everybody to, because there's a lot of hype going around right now with Mel Tucker and everything, and it's just like, you know, the city's behind us. You know, a lot of the fans are behind us, and you don't
I mean, I played in that stadium, I think twice, and it's famous. It's one of the big ones. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, man. So just to end it, I call this show or podcast, you know, the After Effect. So like, what was the after effect just of your athletic career? You know, when you decided to go into coaching and you knew in your head like, okay, I'm done with athletics. Like, what was the after effect? Because I know, you know, as athletes, we go through ups, we go through downs, we go through rage, we go through pain, we go through sorrow. We have all these different mixed emotions. You know, winning, losing, politics here, politics there. So what would you say it was the after effect? You know, after you knew that your athletic career was over.
You know, I think that was the most I've ever prayed for peace of mind. You know, the most in my life I've ever prayed for peace. I remember talking to one of my partners. He was an offensive lineman at Traven, and we were just chopping it up, just saying, you know, man, we were right there. You know, we won a couple championships in college and everything, but just like, man, the world, we got like 40, 50, 60 years left for the rest of our life. Like, do you want to be depressed? Because I know a lot of guys who still to this day are trying to chase it, you know, and it's been 5, 6 years since they had a taste of it, but it's hard to hang up, man. When you've been doing this since you were 6 years old, and it's just like you go into a state of depression. And I don't think I ever hit the state of depression, but I did hit the state of, you know, questioning a lot of things, essentially, you know, questioning, you know, if I should have done things differently or could have done things a little better. Like you said, if I could have went ahead and took advantage of hurry up and graduate, don't go out this night, you know. Go ahead, get your stuff right, turn this in early. Maybe you've been done in 3 years and you could have got the masters out the way. You could have had a little more firepower. I went into the questioning, you know, kind of self-reflecting a little bit, essentially, on, you know, what I did in college, you know, times that I probably should have done a little more work, you know. What if I'd have worked a little harder? You go back and picture plays in your head.
I did the same thing.
You know, what if I would have made this cut and took it to the crib?
Trying to remember, like, did I do my last rep, my last like 8th rep during the workout? Just like, did I cheat at all? Did I do, like, you run through all that stuff in your head, trying to figure that out.
No doubt. And
it's crazy, man, because that was why I wanted to start this podcast, bro. Because I think that transition from, you know, like you say, playing something your whole life, 20 years, and then abruptly saying, okay, it's over. I'm never doing this again, and I'm going to go do this now. That transition is a lot harder, you know, than what people think. And, you know, unfortunately, I've had like some former teammates, you know, that played at the U of Iowa. I mean, like, DM me, like, depressed stuff, like they don't want to be on the earth no more. Like, so I gotta send all these messages like of like cheerleading statements like, hey bro, like, no, you good, you supposed to be here, you supposed, like, and I know a lot of guys that had went through these kind of moments and then obviously found themselves like on the better side, you know, but had to get through it, like had to get through those moments of like feeling like, man, like, who am I, or should I be here, or, you know. And it's great that like you didn't experience like any depression. I don't think I did either. I was more like rageful. I was mad, like, like, because I felt like I did everything right. I felt like I was the model citizen guy, you know, especially being Black at a predominantly white school. I never got in trouble, never been arrested, you know, never was on academic probation. I felt like I did everything I was supposed to do to at least get an opportunity. So I was in a state of like rage, like wanting to lash out, and I had to work through that. But yeah, man, it's that
You
the
know,
after effect is
oh, it's
major.
tough, man. I think as a coach, and hopefully one day I'm a head coach. But one thing that I think just the industry itself has to do a better job of is not even just in college and high school, man, doing a better job of getting these kids prepared for that.
Right.
Just that mental state is something that everybody can't handle.
All
Everyone's
right.
not
Right.
that mentally tough. And everyone, a lot of people will fold if they get something taken from them that they've had their whole life. They'll fold,
Exactly.
go under the dark, and you'll never hear from them again. And that's not a good place to be in. And it's like,
Exactly. It's not.
I think we got to do a better job, especially as two young black men as ourselves.
Hmm.
Not just people of color, but people in general. We have to do a better job of being good people and educating these kids. Like, there's life outside of this.
Right.
There's more to life than football. I love
Right.
the game. I love it, but man, at the end of the day, you wake up, you a man before anything. You
Oh,
gotta
you know that.
prepare for it.
So, last question, man. I think it's major in the media right now. Talk about like the stigma of uh, African American coaches in college and the NFL. I saw a stat the other day that I think it's like three black NFL coaches and one black GM.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of like a major discussion right now. Like, how do we, as black men, as coming from the black culture, like how do we um, improve like the mindsets of like these owners and these people in these bigger positions to trust us and trust us black men in like a higher position to where there's more diversity. And with you being right there, like in that space as an offensive assistant, I mean as an offensive analyst, like talk about what you think that we could possibly do. I mean, I know we're probably like out of ideas, but and just talk about how you feel about that.
You know, Everything that's going on has been crazy, man. But to answer that question, I don't think there's a direct answer.
Yeah.
But I do think, that in order for us to do that, us as African American black men, us as black men in this United States of America, we have to do a better job of, preparing the next generation. I
Mm.
think essentially us grooming people essentially will help a lot more because
Right.
that one GM in the NFL should be getting somebody ready to be the next GM somewhere else.
Exactly. Exactly.
Those three
Exactly.
head coaches should give somebody a little power, a little knowledge to help them
Right.
be better head coaches one day. I think we got to
Right.
do a better job of reaching that hand out and getting
Mm.
guys ready to go. And I think for me personally, anything I can do for any young guy I want to coach, and I don't know everything, but I know a little bit, and I know some
Right.
people, but I think we got to do a better job of helping each other,
Mm.
and giving people and having success as well.
Right.
That's going to be key. The more success we have in those positions,
Uh-huh.
I think that'll be, obviously the more trust we'll get with it. But
Mm.
in order for us to get other people to, essentially trust us with it, for one, we just got to go ahead and make sure we put the right people around us and garner that success. Put good people in good positions, and you get a lot of good success. And that's what I think is the biggest factor. People make the world go round. That's
Right.
my personal opinion. A good person with a little knowledge will go further than a bad person with a lot of knowledge.
Right.
In
That's
my
key.
opinion, it's just like we got to put good people who with good intentions. Not
Hmm.
people who are just hungry for power, hungry for authority, hungry for money.
Right.
It's bigger than that. What are you doing to help the next person?
Right. Right.
What are you
How
doing to
are you
be
helping the
part of
next person? How
the
are you helping the next guy? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll be huge for us. Just and even in politics, man. Getting people ready and understanding that they can. When we were younger, all we always knew, okay, we're gonna play football, we're gonna play sports. Nobody ever
Right.
told me I could go be a lawyer, a senator, a governor. Nobody told me that,
Right. Right. Same here.
And that's a problem, because
Right.
we could
Yeah.
have done it. We
Yeah.
can do it. Let's
Yeah.
not just make sports the center of every
Hmm.
kid's life. Let
Exactly.
them know
Exactly.
this is an opportunity and an outlet.
All right.
But
Right.
if you want to go be the next Barack Obama, you can do it.
You can. Yeah. And a lot
You
of times, how in different ways and how we grew up, a lot of times kids may want to pursue things like that, but they don't even know. Like you said, no one's telling them that they can. And then after someone, even if someone tells them that they can, then what are the action steps? Like how do they get there? Like
know,
you go to undergrad and then graduate school and then doctorate school. Like
without,
what are the action steps to do? And also with you coming out of that player engagement role, one thing that I learned, like, and just in my adulthood, is like college didn't teach me how to network, like in a room of like professionals, right? Like, because once you learn the particular questions to ask, and being persistent as far as when you get emails and things like that, following up every week and wait and making sure you get an email back, and just things like that. Those things aren't taught. And so when they aren't taught, that's how I feel like a lot of guys, feel lost, or feel like they can't achieve or touch what they want to touch.
Yeah. In our generation, I think we're the generation to be able to kind of raise kids up a different way, because I know my parents, they went through different times than we did, and they weren't as educated.
Same here.
They weren't as educated as we are. That's just how it is. Those parents who were born in the 50s, 60s, 70s, they weren't granted the same opportunities we were granted. We were two college graduates, man. Like, I think we have an opportunity to go back and reach out to the younger generation and help these guys understand, men and women understand, that opportunity, life is full of opportunities. You just got to take advantage of them, and you can do anything you want to do. Contrary to what our country is going through right now, it is a free country, quote unquote. We do have opportunities. It is the land of opportunities. That you are able to put yourself in certain positions that people can't take away from you if you, educate yourself the right way.
Right. If you have the knowledge, if you know how to move forward towards that. Yeah, that's major, man. That's major, man. Well, yeah, I appreciate you tapping in with me and getting on the pod. Appreciate all the support, man. So do you guys play in Iowa City, or you play in East Lansing this year? Because I got to come to that game.
Yeah, we do play in Iowa this year. I heard crazy, but they told me a stadium hard to play in.
Yeah. The visitor locker room where you guys would be is pink, man. So don't take that personal.
We going out there trying to get better. Hopefully, as fall camp goes well, we get these.
Yeah. So what do you think? Because, man, I know it's got to be some nerves, like, with you guys, because they're saying that it may be a spike. Like, they're saying that there may be a spike in the COVID-19, and then it may finally be. So I'm hoping that, because I feel like if it's a spike, that's going to ruin, because you got training camps starting usually at the end of July, and it's almost about to be the end of June. So I'm hoping that there's no spike and things continue to, the numbers continue to come down.
I just think people got to have a good plan, man. Just have a good plan to keep people isolated as much as possible, and keep them around the same people as much as possible. But you know how it is in college, man. You can hope, but you can't control it.
Right. Only to a certain extent. And I think it's good that they sent all the colleges sent all the students home. So so there are less bodies moving around campus, and so I think it'll work out. Praying, because I was just talking to my dad, and I'm just like, man. We missed the last 18 regular season games in the NBA, but if football, if there's no football this fall, I mean, that's just like, I might go crazy.
I see people riding now, man. Other people not.
Because you know how people act when it comes to football.
They going crazy. It's gonna be a wild time. But
but like you said, man, I think things gonna work out. We got to stay optimistic.
Oh, no doubt. That's all it is. Being hopeful, man. Definitely.
All right, man. I'll let you go, bro. I appreciate you tapping in. I will definitely be in touch with you about that game. Best of luck this season, bro. And keep in touch, man.
Well, no doubt. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you having me.
Oh, yeah.
Keep grinding, man. I hope to see you in a movie real soon on BET.
Hey, man. Hey, movie, host, whatever I got to do in this creative realm. But I'm gonna do it.
No doubt. I got all the faith.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you, man. Tell your girl I said hello. Hope all your family is healthy and good. And I'll be in touch.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Take it easy.
See you.